You might know that microfiber cloth is great for cleaning, but which one to pick? I scoured Amazon, ordered all of the ones that had 5-star ratings and tried to figure out, okay, which ones actually are good, because it's really hard reading between thousands of reviews and there's lots of mixed feedback. So today I'm going to walk you through top brands that you can buy on Amazon, different sizes, pricing, what they work, how they work out of the box, what we think of after washing them, and give you an assessment so that you can decide what works best for you. I've also included all of this in a spreadsheet, so if you want to get access to that, you can click the link below and just quickly make the decision that you need to help guide you through your own cleaning journey. All right, my first brand here is Home Excel. Now this is one of the cheaper cloths, sold at $1 a cloth, and it's 11.5 inches, so also on the smaller side. Our second brand that we're going to look at here is USA Nooks. Now this is only 75 cents a cloth, and they are 12.5 inches squares. Then we have Microfiber Wholesale. Now this brand is sold by a lot of cleaning influencers, in large part because you can actually get they can get their brand monogrammed on there, but I'm curious how good it is and stands up in comparison to the rest. This one's a little bit more expensive at $1.25, but they're 12-inch cloths. We have Mr. Sega. Now, Mr. Sega brand is highly rated on Amazon. Very curious about them and how they're going to stack up. It's $1.41 a cloth, and these are 12.6 inches, so a little bit bigger than the other ones. So those are our 4 main all-purpose brands. Now I also grabbed Higher Kitchen towels, so we'll look and see how good these hold up. And then I also have Purome glass cleaning cloths. Now I looked at a whole bunch of them, purchased a set, and these are $1.65, and spoiler, I've already used them a ton and we love them. So let's go ahead and open all of these boxes and compare the cloths to each other. So I've gone ahead and opened all of them. This is my Home Excel. Now I intentionally got blue, thinking blue would be good for the bathrooms. And then the other ones I just got colors based on being light colors, because one of the things I read is a lot of the brighter colors, although they're fun, did bleed onto different surfaces, and I didn't want that. So I've got Home Excel in blue. We've got USA Nooks in gray here. I've got the Microfiber Wholesale in white. And Mr. Sega is in our tan color here. Now, right out of the bat, I can tell you Mr. Sega is thicker than all of them by a lot. It feels very sturdy, very thick, and very soft right out of the box. Then Wholesale, let's see. I would say that Microfiber Wholesale white is right on par with USA Nooks. They both feel about the same thickness here. Definitely thinner and not as fluffy and soft as the Mr. Sega, but fairly comparable dimension, like thickness wise. And then our thinnest one by far is Home Excel. Like, feels very thin. That being said, if you look at each one of these up close, the Home Excel here has a tighter flat weave on one side and then more of a plush look on the other one. So that's how that one looks. Then we've got the USA Nooks, similar, but I would say its flat side is flat on both sides, so it doesn't have that plush look that the Home Excel has. Microfiber Wholesale is also more of that tight weave on both sides. They don't have that kind of plush feeling. And then Mr. Sega feels fairly plush on both sides. So definitely the thickest, again, of all of them, but also the most plush feeling. So if you're going for feeling plush right out of the box, we've got the back side of the Home Excel, and then we've got both sides of Mr. Sega. Okay, I'm going to throw all of these in the wash, see how they're looking. Now, as you're washing microfiber, it's really important that you only wash microfiber with microfiber. Otherwise, it will do what it does really well and collect all of the cotton and fibers off of your other materials. So I'm going to wash it just with the microfiber here, and then we'll come back and see how they fluffed up and how they look, because according to the reviews, that can make a really big difference on how they look. And then we're going to jump into a performance test and see how they do in the wild. Okay, I did laundry, lots of it. So let's talk through what I'm seeing now in all of these different microfiber towels. So first of all, our blue one, our Home Excel, feels way more puffed up. So that fuzzy side is way fuzzier. It's still thin, but no longer feels like it's the thinnest, actually. Our dark gray one, USA Nooks, is still like the flattest weave Very similar still to the wholesale, microfiber wholesale. However, the USA Nooks now feels the thinnest and least impressive of all of them. So I would say this is, yeah, least impressive feeling right now. The microfiber wholesale still has that flat weave, but now feels a lot thicker and like there's a lot more to it. More like how Mr. Sega felt when I first took it out. So this is now comparable to the Mr. Sega straight out of the package. However, we've got Mr. Sega here, and it still feels really thick, plush on one side, thick, soft. So this one feels the best out of all of them. This one, the Home Excel now feels the fuzziest on one side. And you can really see that fuzziness level. So, now if I were to rank them on just feel test, I'm saying that USA Nooks, thinnest, least impressive feeling. The Home Excel now has a flat side and a fuzzy side. Still seems a little bit thin, but moved up the ranks. The microfiber wholesale feels a lot thicker, durable, fluffier. And Mr. Sega still feels thickest, most durable, most promising. Now, as far as the dish towel goes, this has fluffed up quite a bit. I will say I do see the light shining through this, and the connection between each of the microfibers is very, very, very thin. So I'm curious how durable this would actually be. It seems like it would rip really easily through there. And then the glass cleaner is clean, pretty much the same as it was, very durable, good at wiping on, wiping off. So, yeah, still seems really thick. Not a big change because there's hardly anything there. Okay, I'm going to now test these out and see how they perform in a real life scenario. So I tested these cloths in a variety of situations. I used them in the kitchen, I used them dry dusting, I used them scrubbing walls, I used them scrubbing doors, and here is what I found. So, first of all, when it comes to kitchen, I used the Home Excel light blue cloth here. I was shocked. It had almost no scrubbing power, and it kind of just pushed stuff around the counter. It was not very effective. When we used the USA Nooks dark gray, it was okay in picking things up, but it still did not have very much scrubbing power. It was really hard to use. And because it was so thin, both of the blue and the gray ones, because they were so thin, I felt like it just, it just pushed stuff around. It was very ineffective. I was shocked when I moved to the microfiber wholesale. There was a big jump up. It had very decent scrubbing power and trapped things well. And then Mr. Sega was like won by a landslide when it came to the kitchen. Things that were taking me a long time to scrub with the other cloths came up a lot quicker. That felt like there was something there that I was rubbing, onto the countertop. It was very effective. So when it comes to kitchen cleaning, Mr. Sega, this gray one here, clear winner. Now, for dry dusting, I had low expectations after my experience with the kitchen. However, they were actually all fairly comparable. Now, when it comes to the Home Excel, our light blue one here, it did not work as great on the plush side. So I definitely had to use the flat weave side. But once I started doing that, it picked it up fairly well. I did have to go back and forth a few extra times to trap the same amount of dust with the Home Excel and USA Nooks. But then when it came to microfiber wholesale, it worked pretty well with a pass or two. But once I used the Mr. Sega, it was like, okay, that was magic. That cleaned everything up in one swipe. And then I even went back over the other areas that I had done with the 3 previous cloths with the Mr. Sega. And I felt like it was just way more dusted. And I tried to test it on a really dark piece of furniture. I then went and dry dusted as well on like our molding, and when I was using the white crown molding that we had and the picture frame window boxes, I didn't honestly notice a big difference between the 4 cloths, and I don't know if it was just because it was a white surface versus a dark surface, but all 4 worked really well. And then I used it wet. I got a corner of each one wet just to see what it would be like, and I scrubbed doors that were very dark, and I scrubbed walls that had lots of Georgia mud on them. And the result to that was that all 4 worked. They did all work. But the Mr. Sega, once again, it was just a little bit easier. I needed to use a little bit less elbow grease. Now, this wasn't my plan to think about colors here, but I want to show you. So white obviously gets really dirty. This is just from, dusting and cleaning. Very dirty. And I have the same problem in the kitchen. I'm wiping up ketchup spills. It's super dirty. The blue, light blue, again, very dirty. And trap stains. I'm not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but it's got, all those streaks and stuff. Very dirty. Gray hides things better, but again, you can totally see the dust and grime on there. But the Mr. Sega, this, again, tan one, we'll say tan, hides pretty much everything. This is the corner where I scrubbed in Georgia mud, but you can hardly tell. And this one was the workhorse. This one has the most in it. It holds the most. So if I were to do it again, I would just get a whole bunch of tan ones. And I didn't use some of the darker colors. That said, a lot of the reviews said they were bleeding, but the tan, it's neutral. It doesn't bleed. It hides everything. So like my white ones, they're going to look pretty grubby really, really fast. So as you're trying to figure out your colors, if having them look nice for a long time is important to you, that tan hides a plethora of things really, really well. Well, if you've got the money to spend, I would say Mr. Sega is the clear winner. I would just buy all of these. I have saved you all the pain of purchasing a lot. However, there are a lot of variables. So if you're using it for dry dusting, or you just want a cheap option that's good enough and you're not needing something that scrubs super, super heavy in the kitchen, any of these would work just fine. So you can pick something that fits your budget. And if you now have cloths and you want to figure out, okay, well, when do I clean and how do I clean and how do I get my kids to help me clean? I've got a special class for you called How to Create a Smooth Running Household and Still Have Time for the Things You Want to Do Too. I would love to have you join me there in that free masterclass to help give you a vision of what is possible for your family. And I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you again next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.